Hey parents and students, we're coming back to in-person Fathom groups on Sunday nights. I'm so excited to see our students and leaders in person, but we are going to do it safely. If you aren't comfortable returning to in-person yet, we will have Zoom groups available as well. Over the next couple of minutes, I would love to walk you guys through what Fathom groups will be like for high school students this year. First off, this year we will be meeting in the Grace Worship Center. The night will start at 6:30 and end at 8:30. Students will need to be dropped off and picked up here at the Lower Grace parking lot and then walk up the sidewalk to enter the building. Parents, if you are picking up your students, we ask that you text them and have them walk outside to meet you. We're trying to minimize the number of people in the building, which is why we ask you to text, if possible, at this time. Students that are driving themselves should park in the Lower Grace parking lot and walk up the sidewalk to enter Grace. Students, please do not park in the 5 Points lot, as we will have middle school parents picking up their students at the same time you guys are driving in. When you come in the building, masks are required, and we would prefer cloth or surgical masks if possible. We also have hand sanitizer and extra masks available, and the doors will be propped wide open. Large groups will take place here in the Grace Worship Center. Students must be masked and will be seated at a safe distance from others with chairs marked to indicate where to sit. Dinner will not be served at this time. Small groups will be outside as much as possible as long as weather permits. If the weather is not appropriate for outdoor groups, we will meet indoors with groups spread out in different large spaces across campus. For the safety of everyone, we ask that families do temperature checks at home before students come, and that if students are experiencing any symptoms related to COVID-19, that they would not come to Fathom groups that week. If any student tests positive and has been on campus in the past 10 days, we ask that you would notify us so others can take the appropriate precautions. We will keep your identity private if you wish, but we must be informed. Being notified also allows us to be praying for our students and leaders. I know that was a lot, but we really want to do ministry well and do it safely. I'm incredibly excited to have everyone back to do life and ministry together. If you have any questions or concerns, please send us an email. We're grateful for you all. See you soon.